Hello everyone, let us see the photo manipulation of abandoned city in Photoshop. So let us start. Let's create an A3 size landscape document. So here we will name the document abandoned city, and we can put a resolution of, let's say, 150, and let's click on this create. So here we have created a transparent document, right, and the files are related to our photo manipulation project are saved inside a folder. So here are all the files. So what we are going to do right now is we are going to create a project of abandoned city, a city that was bustling with activity, and lot of buildings and monuments were built. It has a rich history, but everything was going fine. But one day a very big catastrophe occurred in the city, and the people living in the city evacuated the city in huge numbers. And after several years, the city was not visited by anyone. It was abandoned, and because of which lot of trees, grass and plants grew, and the buildings began to develop cracks. The vehicles became old and rusty. It all looked abandoned and left out. Let's start creating this abandoned city. Let's first get this monument inside the Photoshop. This is Charminar, a monument in South India. Right. First, we'll be selecting this monument. So we will use the quick selection tool, and here we have the option select subject. We don't have to select it perfectly because we are anyways going to merge this monument inside our main project. So we have just selected this much, and now we will just click on this mask icon at the bottom of this layers panel to remove the background. And then what we can do is we can simply right click on the mask thumbnail and we'll select apply layer mask to confirm the mask. And now we'll simply drag this monument inside our project. Right, so we can make it big. Later we can adjust the scale of this monument. Right, then we will get one more image. So the next image we are going to get is we will get the image of the buildings. So here we have the building images. So what we'll be doing is we'll first select just some portion of the buildings or the left side of the buildings. So we can select this much. Right, and we will simply drag this particular portion inside our main project. Right, so let's scale it. We can properly rename the layers. Here we will rename the layer as left buildings, and this monument's name is Charminar. Right, and now we will get the right side buildings. So we'll just select the right side buildings, and we will simply drag and we will keep it on the right side. So we'll make it big. right. So we can make them a little bit big, right. So now we will erase some unwanted portions. So what we'll be doing is we will try to just apply mask to these buildings, and we can hide the charminar for a while. So we can just get rid of this background. We can increase the flow value for the brush. Right. So just we only want the building here, and we will also remove this road. And we will do the same thing for the right side buildings. We'll apply the mask, and we will just get rid of this background. We need to ensure that the main portions are there, only the background and this road is gone. Right. So once we got the scene in this way, we will now turn on this monument, the charminar, and we will drag the charminar layer on top of the building layers, and we will also rename this right portion as the right buildings. Right. So now let's get the image of the ground. So here we have two images. We'll just get the image of ground. So first we will select this particular ground. There's a lot of water on it, and let's drag this inside our project. So we can just make it big, and let's drag this ground layer below all the layers. Right. And let's also get one more ground image. So I think we can get this one. So here we can see, but there is a lot of water inside it. Let's find one more ground image. There's a lot of water, and we can select this one here. So here there is some road. We can get this particular image. So we can just get this. Right. So then we will now get the sky. So for sky, here is the image. I will just select the sky part from this image, and we want the sky to be behind everything. Right. And then the thing we'll be doing is, see, we will try to apply mask to this ground layer, and we can rename it as a grass ground. Right. And we will just apply mask to it, and we can erase some portions, and we will also try to scale the watery ground. Right. So then we will now get the image of some plants and bushes. So here is the image of some plants or trees or bushes. So these bushes and plants grow when the city is abandoned for several years. So we'll select only these bushes. We'll just apply mask to it, and we will invert the mask, and now we'll just drag this one inside our project. Right. And we will just drag it on top like this. Right. So now we will try to just properly position these bushes. So we will first right click on the mask thumbnail for these bushes and just select apply layer mask, and we will apply mask again for this particular bushes layer. We will rename this layer as bushes, and we'll just apply a mask to it. Right, and let's try to properly adjust these bushes. Right, so we can also just paint near the ground, and we can just reduce the flow amount here, and we can just paint so something like this. Right, we will also apply mask to this road layer, the watery road. We'll just rename it as watery road, and we will just select the mask thumbnail, and we can just paint properly, and we will select the Charminar image layer, and we will scale it. Just we'll make it big. Right, so something like this. Right, then we'll do one more thing. The Charminar tool should look like it has developed some cracks. So what we'll be doing is we'll get the image of this cracks, and we will just drag it, and we will just keep it on our monument or Charminar. We can just rotate it. Right, and we will click this cracks layer onto the Charminar layer. We'll simply hold Alt in PC or Option in Mac, and then click in between the Charminar layer and the cracks layer, so something like this, and then we will apply a multiplied blending mode to it. So we can see here, we can see the cracks, and then we will also apply a mask to it, and we will just get rid of some unwanted cracks. We can increase the flow amount. Right. So we can see the cracks. Right. So now we'll try to get some thick grass. So we'll get the image of some thick grass. Here we can see a lot of thick grass is there. We'll just drag it inside our project. Just keep it here. We'll just take a duplicate of this. We'll make the grass a little bit uneven. Right. So here we got the basic setup, and we will also do one more thing, that is we will also just get some moss or algae. So here we can find some algae. So this algae also appears on some monuments or vehicles after several years. So we'll just drag it, and we will try to put some algae on this Charminar. So we'll try to just adjust it properly. Right, and then we will just keep it on top of the Charminar layer, and we will clip this. So here we have clipped it, and now we will apply mask to it, and then we will select the brush, a soft rounded brush, and we will reduce the flow amount here, and then we will use white as the foreground color and start painting. So we can see there is some algae, and we can also combine this algae with a blending mode. We can just find a blending mode. So we can see here we can use multiply, we can also use linear burn or color burn, but I think multiply looks better. So we can use multiply, and then we can just paint this algae on Charminar. So it looks very old and worn out. Right. Right. So then the next thing we'll be doing is we can just reduce the amount of this algae. We don't want it to be too dark. We can slightly reduce it, just a bit. Right. Now we will get the image of these old cars. So here we have the image of this car. Let's select it. So here we have selected this car. Let's subtract the unwanted portions from this car. We only want this particular car here. So here we can see the rusty car. Now let's drag this. Right. So we can just drag the car image on top of all layers, Right. We can just rotate it a little bit. Right. So then we will apply mask to it. We will rename the layer as car, and let's also use a brush, a soft rounded brush, and we can just increase the flow amount a little bit and keep black as the foreground color, and let's erase the bottom portion of this car. So we just have to keep black as the foreground color. So we can see here as if the car is submerged inside the water. So something like this. Right. We'll get one more image of the car, or one more car. So this is another car image. So let's select it and let's remove some of the unwanted images here. Right. So let's select this car and let's drag this car image inside this document. Right. And let us flip it. Right. So then we'll do the same thing. We'll just rename the layer as second car, and we will apply mask to it, and then we will just erase the bottom portion. So something like this. This car also looks submerged inside this water. And we can also select this bushes layer, and if we want some more bushes we can just paint. So we can just paint like this, and we can just erase if we want to see some water. Right. So we are now slowly improving the scene. Right. Then we will also get the image of this old truck. So we will just select it now using the select subject. Right, and we will just drag it inside our document. So here we can see. So we can just scale it, and we will now just apply a mask to it, and we will also just make this truck appear submerged. So something like this. Right. And we will select the bushes layer, and we will try to just paint with white here. Right. So we are slowly improving the scene. Right. So now the thing we'll be doing is we will select the Charminar layer, and we can just select the layers above it, the layers which are clipped to this Charminar, and we will make the Charminar a little bit small so that it looks a little bit far away here. So we can see here. Right. And the thing we can do is we can also try to just scale the ground here. Right. So we'll try to make the car image a little bit small. And we will also make this second car image a little bit small. Right, and we will rename this layer as truck, and we will also make it a little bit small. Right, now the scene looks better, and we will just try to paint over these areas here. So just we can see a lot of bushes near the Charminar. Right, we can just show some amount of water, that's it. So just we can show some water over here, that's it. Right, we can put some algae on these buildings as well, so we will get image of algae. So here we can see there is some moss or algae, so we can just select it, and we will drag this one inside our project. So we will close all these unwanted documents. So let's drag this. So here it is. So we'll just try to distort it. So here we will activate the transform tool and select distort, and we can just try to keep it like this, something like this. Right. So then we will just drag this moss layer over the right building layer, and we will clip it to the right building. And we will also do one more thing. We will change the blending mode to, let's say, we can try multiply, or let us say we can try a better blending mode here. So we can also keep it to normal, but let's see multiply, and we will apply a hide all mask to it. Right, and now we will try to just paint with white color. The flow value is just 45%, so we can see here. So there is some algae or moss on these buildings, so we can see. So we can just erase some unwanted portions, something like this. And we can do the same thing on the left side buildings. So we can get this particular image. So we'll just keep it on top of the left side building, and we will try to adjust it in perspective. We'll just right click and select distort. Right, and we will clip it, and then we will just change the blending mode to, let's say, multiply, and we will also apply a hide all mask to it. Right, and we will just select a brush, a soft rounded brush. Make sure that the flow value is just 40%, and now let's paint with the white color. So we can see here. So something like this. And if you think it's too greenish, we can slightly reduce the opacity. So something like this. It's very mild now. Right. So now we got the basic scene here. Then the next thing we are supposed to do is we will get another image of let us say rocks and stones, and we will try to get this particular image, the broken rocks and stones, and we will just drag this image into our project. We'll just keep it on top of everything. We'll just scale it. Here we can see, and just like all other images, we will apply a hide all mask to it, and we will start painting here. So we can see some rocks, so we can see some rocks here and there. So this looks somewhat realistic. Just we need to be careful. We should not paint unwanted things. Right. Right. So here we got a basic scene now. So now the next thing is, let's make it more interesting. Let's give some color lookup presets to this particular scene. So we will start with a simple color lookup preset. Here at the bottom of the layers panel, we can find create new fill or adjustment, and from this we will select the color lookup, and we will just try to apply a color lookup preset here. Here we will select something called let's say tension green. So we can see here now the coloring has changed. And we have to do something here. Here we got some unwanted objects here. Let's try to erase those unwanted objects. So let's get rid of those unwanted objects here. Right. Right. So this looks better now. So here we have applied a greenish color lookup preset. We can also find out some other presets here. So we will try to delete this. Let's say we will delete this color lookup, and let's find some more color lookup presets. So here we can find let's say edgy amber. So we can see the scene looks very much orangish, and we can find some more things like horror blue. So we can see here it looks it looks bluish in color, and there are other presets here we can experiment. So we can see here, but we will stick to this tension green. We can also select this teal orange. We'll select okay, let us select this teal orange here. Right. So we can see here, and The thing we'll be doing is, the next thing is we will try to control the brightness of the scene. So what we'll be doing is we will just try to apply a curves adjustment, and we will just reduce the brightness a little bit. So we can see here. So we have just reduced the brightness. Right. Then we will now apply hue and saturation adjustment, and here we will select the option colorize so that we can give some unnatural colors. So we will just increase the hue amount here, so we can see a lot of interesting colors we can see. We will just select a color in between yellow and green, and we will increase the saturation amount. Right, but this color should not be too intense. We want this color to be mild. So what we'll be doing is we will try to inverse the mask for the hue and saturation. We'll simply hit Ctrl I in PC or Command I in Mac by selecting the mask thumbnail for this hue and saturation. And now what we'll be doing, we'll just select a brush. Let's keep the flow amount to, let's say, only 30%. And let's just start painting, and make sure that the color is white here so we can see the change. Right. The thing we are going to do now is we will now add some fog. To add some fog, I have downloaded a brush from brusheasy.com. I will provide the link for this brush in the description. So here is the fog brush. So we'll select this fog brush, and what we'll be doing is we'll try to add some fog. So we will just select a layer above the buildings. So we'll just create an empty layer above the buildings, and we will use white as the foreground color. We want the white fog. We can just increase the brush size. So here we can see we are adding some fog. We'll also add a fog on the left side. So we can see here. So there is some fog here. And we will also add some fog over the bushes in some places. Something like this. Right. Then what we'll be doing is also add some fog in the front. So we will just select the topmost layer, and we will apply a gradient fill adjustment layer. So we can see here, see there is a lot of fog at the front of the image. So we can just slightly reduce the fog amount here. So we want some fog, but it should not be too intense. So a mild fog is okay. Right. So there is a mild fog at the front, and we will reduce this fog percentage even further. It should be just a mild, that's it. Right. Now the scene looks fantastic, and we will add a brightness and contrast adjustment, and we will increase the contrast. So we can see here the scene looks crispy now. Right. So now the scene got some attraction, and we will just reduce the brightness a little bit. Right. So we are now coming to the end of our project. We will do one more thing, that is we will now just apply one more curves adjustment, and we will try to just increase the brightness here. So we can just slightly increase the brightness of the scene. Just we can increase it further, but we want brightness only on the monument. So what we will be doing, we will just invert the mask for these curves, and we will just select the brush, and we will select a soft rounded brush, and we will just paint some brightness over the monument. So something like this. So here we have created the project Abandoned City. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please do like, subscribe, share, and if you have anything to say, do comment. See you again.